only 8:40 hours sleep. 8 hours, 40 minutes, that's not enough. And 1.2 event per hour is not that great. That means I stopped breathing on more than once an hour. Sometimes it's down to 0.9. All right, so it's about 11:17 a.m. on Monday, February 15th, 2021. We made it through Valentine's Day again, and I don't know how I've managed to live my entire life I never had a Valentine. Like, 'cause I know I've had girlfriends, and I guess I've just never really committed to a girlfriend, so it's always sort of been like half, oh, maybe I'm in and out, I don't know. All right, so here's my new thing. Sometimes I make videos called Last Night's Dreams, and I wake up and then I tell you about my dream, and it's like something weird or whatever, which is nice because I can go back to those videos, go, oh yeah, I remember thinking about that thing. I picture the world, but last night, I woke up this morning, sort of half waking up, and it was hot, and I'm sweating, and I'm like, and I'm trying to remember the dream, and I don't really. I remember it was just one of those things, another dream where I'm like trying to figure something out or do something, and it's not quite right. For some reason, I can picture just like a tiny white bowl or something, like a not a dish, like it's like it might be like a butter dish or like some low bowl, and just stirring or something. I don't know what, and then something else is like blankets on a head or something, but maybe that's just from when I was waking up with blankets on my head to block the light. Um, yeah, just something about trying to be a part of most of my dreams now just seem to be like I'm in an apartment or talking to people and trying to I don't know. There's not much, because dreams, what they are usually, is your brain trying to process the information from the day and just file it away into memories, right? So it's like, something happens and you'll have a dream that's a weird version of that, but it's your brain trying to. But I don't really seem to be doing much these days. Yesterday I didn't even leave the house at all. Did lots of speed dating, but is speed dating even real? It's like digital. It's like people on screens, and then I talk to my phone about the people on the screens. Like it's wow. These are weird times. So sometimes I do the dream summary, and then yesterday I did something called morning thoughts, because I couldn't really remember my dream, but then I wanted to just talk about what my morning panic was, like what I regret. Uh, Yesterday it was like a couple of girlfriends that I regret losing, and then had a nice discussion with the original Jen. For those of you who are new here, I met Jen, I guess, when I was like 31 or something, and sort of was on and off for 3 or 4 years where I kept breaking up with her and trying to get her back. And then after her, I met another Jen. And then after her, I met another Jen. Um, but anyway, so that first Jen is nice enough to still talk to me on Facebook. The other ones, second Jen, she got back to me like a year ago when I said hi, and I said, I saw you at a coffee shop last year or something. She's like, oh, you should have said hi. And I just assumed she saw me and walked away. So I should have done that. And then the third one won't reply at all. And, that's fair. She's got a wife and kids and, well, no, husband and kids. Well, who knows? No, I know she's got a husband. How do you can't have kids with a wife. I mean, you can. Anyways, we're not going to get into that. I don't even know why I'm not wearing a shirt. Well, I know why I'm not wearing a shirt. This girl, Vanessa, that years ago I read an article in the National Post, or a column. I was in an airport and I read it, and she had a column where she was doing like an eco thing every day or once a week or something. And I think maybe it's daily. And she wrote a book called Sleeping Naked is Green. And the idea was, I guess, that it saves you having to do extra laundry, so that saves water. How's the weather today? There's snow. Any squirrels? Hello, squirrels. I love the squirrels. In yesterday's video, I mentioned watching the squirrels, and then original Jen was like, "Yeah, don't do the speed dating. Just go for your jog. Go talk to the squirrels." She understands me. She called me her little hedgehog. Actually, I seem to remember something to do. Well, I was in Japan. She drove me to the airport when I was going to Japan for work, and I was crying and I was panicked, and I'm like, I don't want to go because I was afraid of flying. Stupid me. I could have done a lot more free traveling. I even was offered, like my boss, I did a good job with my art director one year, and she's like, "You guys can do anything. Take some money and go do something." And then my partner, art director, was planning like, "Hey, why don't we go to this French ad agency and for a couple of weeks and intern there?" And then we just never did it. Um, and I don't know. I guess we just. I mean, I guess I didn't want to push on it because I was like afraid of flying. But now I'm like, I haven't gone back to. Oh, look, squirrel, squirrel. I'm like a dog, squirrel. I haven't gone back to France. I still haven't been there, and I was only there when I was 20. Um, so that's sad. I think about all the time I wasted. Like when you're young, like I was even offered a trip to Africa. Somebody found me online and said, "Hey, why don't you come and do your funny videos here? You can live stream from this African desert." And I'm like, it's a whole month, and what if I'm bored? But who knows? I mean, you look back and you think, "Oh, I'm too old at 35." But now you're like, I was just a baby. I could have done anything. Um, and that's this morning's panic. I woke up and I was just picturing, like when I sort of was walking around this park in Spain with a couple of girls I met, and I'm like, oh yeah, I think I just thought of this because I just saw Elon Musk's sister post a picture from like an art gallery where she's shooting her Netflix, she's got her own network, like it's kind of like Hallmark, I guess, Passion Flicks or something. And she's in an art gallery. She's like, I love my job. And the art gallery, like in the morning light, it's like when I was squinting, it sort of looked like just stone walls. I'm like, oh, it's like when I'm in Spain, and I was just walking around the park, and when you're young, it's like anything's possible. Like I could have been like, oh, there's a girl, or I was walking around with girls, and now I'm like, when I'm older, I'm just like an old guy walking around. There's not the possibilities. But gotta remember, first of all, even if I was 18 again or 20 when I was in Europe, that wouldn't be permanent. Like even that would be, I'd be then growing up again. Like so, nobody has frozen at any one age or at any one moment. I'm already older now, 7 minutes older than when I started this video, which is kind of part of my stand-up act. It's like I talk about how I'm nostalgic for everything. Like I'm even nostalgic for when I, remember a minute ago when I, you know, was being introduced in this comedy act, that kind of thing. Hilarious. Um, Speaking of which, somebody in my comedy class said I should just do like random. He would listen to me stream of consciousness, like talk for 5 or 10 minutes a day. He just likes hearing my thoughts. So maybe that's what this is. Although I wish this was easier to post as a podcast, but I'd have to get the audio, and it's a bit more complicated to get the files up. It's a bit, just. But maybe I can. Maybe that's what I should do. I should just get up in the morning. Be like, here's the morning podcast, and I'll just start rambling, and then I'll check the news, and that's it. Rather than talking into my camera like this. Anyways, what was I talking about? So that was this morning's panic. But then I did this thing where I'm just like, what Mel Robbins says to do. I put my hand on my heart. I'm like, it's okay. I'm safe, because I'm remembering now. And then Kathy Heller talks about this too. Like maybe the reason I wake up every morning in a panic is because your body's programmed to keep recycling the same emotions and stuff. Like, because I went to bed and it wasn't too bad. I was up till like, actually 2:30 a.m. Now I remember I thought I was going to bed at 1:45, but no, I looked at my phone when I was going to sleep. It was like 2:20. So yeah, that's right. I didn't really go to bed till 2:30. That's ridiculous. And then I was like, oh my God, I need to wake up for the stock market. But I looked at it now at like 11, and I'm like, doesn't seem to be moving, and it turns out it's President's Day. I googled it, so it's not even open today. So I could have slept in. But at noon, I've got the course call for Kathy Heller, and I've told the group that I would help them with Instagram, so I've got to do that. So I got to remember that's a thing. There's 888 people in the group, and if I'm teaching them Instagram, that's like a big group of people that I'm friends with, and I'm not missing out with. Facebook reminded me today it was 8 years since I became friends with Mandy at my old job, and she was funny, and we had lots of little adventures, and I commented like, I miss working with great people like that, and she says, yeah, I like working from home, but I miss the people and stuff. So I guess even she is working from home right now. So I don't know what ad agencies are doing, but even if I had the job, I'd be working from home. And actually I do have an assignment today where I've got to name a travel agency for or travel software for my old colleague Gail. So kind of this is what I'd be doing. Gail would call me and give me a project, so that's fine. That's okay. And the other thing I like to do to remind me it's okay, everybody's older right now. Like every single person in the world got up today, and it's another day. We're all another day older. course, as they say in Les Miserables, at the end of the day, you're another day older. That's all you can say for the life of the poor. But I'm going to be the rich, because here's what my question is, and I don't know. Hopefully, I'll find out one day. But like, is somebody like Jeff Bezos, who's, I don't know, is he 56 or something? But he's very, very rich. He's often the richest man in the world, depending on how Tesla stock is doing versus his Amazon stock. Anyways, um, is he happy? I mean, he's probably happy, but does having that much money make you happy enough that you could sort of get that sort of joy of being 18 again and having just that raw, I'm talking to a girl. And I've also got to temper this with, when you are 18, I mean, when you look back at it, you're like, oh my God, of course, that was so magical. That was so wonderful. Oh my God. But is it as good? And I know it was good. I remember being in that moment going, oh God, I've got to hold on to this. This is the best. Like when I'm walking around with Loic, and that's my friend from France, like in residence and just serenading all the girls. Like I think at the time we knew this is magical. This is something special. Um, but you're still just a person. You're still just a human being doing your thing. So maybe I'm idealizing it a bit. Like whatever that word is I'm looking for. Um, so maybe, you know, because even things like, I look back to this summer when I went to the yoga classes in the park or something. At the time, I was still panicked. I wasn't feeling good. But I look back and I'm like, oh, those were good times. So maybe you look back on things and everything seems nicer in the past. I don't know. Can he have as much fun? Like, is being rich, can he do amazing things that it's just like, wow, every morning he wakes up like, haha, like it doesn't matter that he's a bit older. He's just like happy that because he's so rich. So that's what I wonder. Like, can you be rich enough that you're like, doesn't matter that I'm not 18. I can just get any woman I want. I can travel anywhere I want. I can have any adventures I want. That's what I'm wondering. I guess we'll find out. Maybe I could do a podcast. If any billionaires want to come on my podcast and tell me what it's like, that'd be great. So at noon I've got to do the Kathy call. I posted to YouTube the skating video that National Capital Commission wanted, but didn't do it until 2 in the morning, which is unfortunate because they asked for it Friday. They said, can they share it for Family Day, which is today. So what I should have done is just found that exact clip, thrown it on YouTube, because I'm so obsessed with like, oh, it's got to be in the right chronological order. If I post the skating video, before I post the other things, like that's so dumb. Like if they wanted that video, I could have found it, airdropped it to my phone immediately, and just thrown it up there. Um, and now I maybe have missed the chance for them to share it to the world. So hopefully I haven't, but I guess a lesson learned, just get it up and don't worry. Like I'm never going to be able to go back and put every YouTube video up in chronological order from when I filmed it, and it doesn't matter. That's not how people are watching it. The way Kathleen, my friend, put it is she's like, nobody cares other than you. Um, and if they do care, they're a crazy stalker, and you're not really interested in their thoughts, anyways. So I'm going to try to keep this under 15 minutes. It's 13 minutes and a half now because 15 minutes is the limit to put it on Instagram, and I like to be able to put the video up on Instagram. So that's this morning's thoughts. And one last thing. Some girl on the speed dating last night, I was saying, I do morning thoughts and when I jog, but it's all kind of depressing. And she's like, well, maybe you can twist it. Like, depressing can be funny. Like if you give your funny take on things. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true, because that's what they say in my stand-up comedy class. Like, I should have put on a shirt at the beginning of this, or my bathrobe. They say, like, that's what comedy is. Just tell me what's wrong. Rant about what's wrong, what's bothering you, whatever. So maybe that's what I'm doing. So I just need to be more funny, like, haha. And maybe I've accomplished that today. I don't know. So yes, good morning. Halfway through February, and this is probably right when I bought the ticket to. It's almost time when I bought the ticket to go to Orlando for a podcast conference at the beginning of March last year. So it's been a year since I last traveled, and but yeah, there's lots of adventures. Anything can happen every day, right? I'm looking forward to maybe I'll see Charles at the store today, or I don't know what else I'm looking forward to. But I'm not trading stocks, I guess. But what are you looking forward to today? Comment below.